He's on a private chat.
62A1. Okay. The Gomorrah is talking about modesty. The Gomorrah is talking about 4 or 5 lines to the wide lines. One of Mr. Haber. He would like to, yes.
Machine? That machine?
The Gomorrah says, be a min. Why can't a person clean oneself with his right? Gomorrah says, what's the reason for that? Amar Rava. So Rava says, turn it to be a min. So to speak, meaning with strength, and the yamin is given, it's described miyamino, from the right, miyamino eishda. So since it was given with the right, so therefore it's not respectful to use the right hand and to clean oneself. The Gemara continues. Rabbi Bachana says, what's the reason why you should not go to the right? Nay, she krova lepet. The right hand is close to the mouth, and as a result of that, to go to the bathroom, you should not use his right hand because if your right hand gets dirty, and since your right hand is usually what you eat with, so if your hand gets dirty and it goes to touch your mouth, it's very disgusting. So on and so forth, and therefore the Gemara says he should go ahead and use his left hand. But there are different reasons in the Gemara. One reason is as kavod, that the right is kavod, because the Torah was given. Whoa, marhaba. Marhaba. So one is one is kavod for the right hand because we know the Torah was right. One is because it's close to your mouth, and therefore sure that hand that's close to your mouth remains very clean at all times, because you can, if you're righty, according to this reason would apply to a righty. If you're a righty, you right hand to eat with your right hand. You want to make sure that right hand is always clean. Shouldn't if you clean yourself with your right hand, your hand will be dirty. Even though you need to wash your hands, maybe there's a concern that something, until a person will wash his hands. Not do you go ahead and you wash to eat, use your right hand for many other purposes. You clean the stuff between your teeth and other things, or whatever whatever different things you do with your right hand. Therefore, you want to keep that right hand clean. And therefore, you should not clean yourself with your right hand. The Gemara says the more famous reason, because you tie your tefillin with your right hand. Because you tie your tefillin with the right hand, so you should not use that hand that you tie your tefillin to go ahead and clean yourself. You know, there was a rabbi in the Lower East Side, Rabbi Ashrei. He was the rabbi of the Beis Medrash Hagadol. The Beis Medrash Hagadol was the shul that Rabbi Yaakov Yosef, the first chief rabbi of New York, the first and last chief rabbi of New York in the late 1800s, for that time, he was the chief rabbi of New York. He had too much of a difficulty with all the mafia people that dealt with the slaughterhouses and non-observant Jews that were running the slaughterhouses, and other people that were giving him a lot of trouble. And he had a very difficult time. And the rabbi was Rabbi Ashrei. So when I went to the shul, Rabbi Ashrei was studied by the Chafetz Chaim. So I knew Rabbi Ashrei. Rabbi Ashrei happened to have been the one who was Mesad Kedusha for my parents. He was the officiating rabbi. So he wrote Shuvas of the Holocaust. Rabbi Ashrei went through the Holocaust. Good morning, Jaime. He went through the Holocaust, and he said he wrote responsa of the Holocaust. Questions that people asked during the Holocaust, amazing questions that husbands, wives, people asked, how to keep the Torah properly during such difficult times. It's called Mimamakim, Shouts and Shuvot Mimamakim, he wrote. And when I shook his hand, or when one of the children would shake his hand, he says, "You are shaking the hand that shook the hand of the Chafetz Chaim." That's what he said. You hear that, Mr. Haber? It was like you're shaking the hand. So I shook the hand of someone who shook the Chafetz Chaim. Well, he was a student of the Chafetz Chaim, and he was there when Rabbi Chana Wasserman was taken to be killed on Kiddush Hashem. The famous story of Rabbi Chana Wasserman when he told the students, you have to have the right machshava. It's like a korban. You have to have the offering, you have the right machshava, the right focus. Just like it says in the halacha, when you pray, you're supposed to pray. You have to have the right thoughts, just like a korban. Your prayer is like a korban. So that was the story with Rabbi Asher. But that thing, the hand that shook the hand of the Chafetz Chaim. That's a very honorable hand. That's a great hand that you just shook. So that your hand that you tie your tefillin, that hand, that's a tefillin. It's a great hand. You should not clean yourself with such a hand. The commentaries ask, the Meforshim ask, but the hand that you tie your tefillin, the tefillin is on your left hand. So shouldn't we have more respect for the left than the right? Because the mitzvah is on your left hand, not on your right hand. You're tying your tefillin. What's the mitzvah? To tie your tefillin. But where are you tying your tefillin to? You tie your tefillin on the left hand. So shouldn't we have more respect for the left hand or not? So one answer is, it's true you tie, what do you say? It's covered to the left hand because you tied the tefillin with the right hand. But some want to say it's true the left hand, the tefillin is on, but the left hand it's passive, it's not active. The right hand is being active in the mitzvah. It's being active, and therefore the thing that's being active takes precedence in this situation. Therefore, you shouldn't clean with your right hand. There's another.
What about lefties and righties? What about people who use on?
Right, that's a great question. So when I recall that a lefty, someone who's a lefty is supposed to, exactly because of these reasons, he should not clean himself with his left hand because he ties his tefillin with his left hand. He should clean himself with his right hand. That's what a lefty should do. We could take out the Yalkut Yosef, but that's what I think. That's what it says about a lefty. And because we're going to have 5 reasons in the Gomorrah, 4 of the 5 reasons would say that it all depends on what your strong hand is, and therefore a lefty, his strong hand is his left hand, and that's what he ties his tefillin. So he should not clean himself with his left hand. Another answer is given is that even though the tefillin is on your left hand, and the mitzvah is being performed on the left hand, but the hand that, but what the question is, what are you using when a person cleans himself? What is he using? He's using his palm of his hand. So even though the tefillin, but where are your tefillin? The main tefillin is here. The mitzvah is accomplished when you put your tefillin by your lower part of your muscle, and that's where the main mitzvah is being performed. The hand, you want to give respect to the hand. The hand that's really doing the mitzvah is when you tie it with you're using this part of your hand to tie your tefillin. You're using, when it comes to the mitzvah of tefillin on your left hand, it's mainly this part of is playing a very incidental role if we're going to put on the table, on the board. The right hand, your left hand when it comes to tefillin. It's true that here, your tefillin is resting here on your left hand, but what's happening with your palm, it's true, you tie your shin around, you tie your shin around your left hand, but the one, when you're putting the face-off between this hand, the palm, and this palm, the one that's being more active in the mitzvah of tefillin is the palm of your right hand, which you're tying your tefillin with. You say, hey, you hear that answer? And therefore they say, I'm going to get out the Yalkut Yosef. 62, we're on 62A. Let's see if we 62A. Okay, what's the next we had? How many lines from the top? In the art scroll, 62A. Now we just turn into page number 2 in the art scroll on the top. So the Gomorrah says, from Nachman by Yitzchak Omar, Torah. because that's the hand that you use to show the ta'amim. In the Torah, as you know, the Torah has a certain tune, the ta'amim that we read the Torah with, some musical notes. And let's say if you ever see sometimes someone's up there helping the person, if he needs help to know what the proper notes are, you got to go up, you got to go down, all the different notes. What hand does he use? He uses the right hand to show the ta'amim. Because you use the right hand to show the person how to read the Torah, that you have to give respect to that right hand. The hand that you use to show the ta'amim should not be a hand that's used to clean oneself when one goes to the bath. Amazing idea to appreciate, to give it respect. You should know, it says when you take a shower, it says that you're supposed to wash your head first. Brought down. Why your head? Give kavod to your head. It's your head. It's your rosh. It's your mind. It's such an important part of your body. You give kavod. It's amazing. You give kavod. It's amazing how in halacha, how we look at everything. Nothing is done. I just do it. Everything needs to be thought out. What is the best way to do something in life? So that's what it says. Another reason it's given, the Gomorrah says, Rabbi Yeshua, not Ketanai. The Gomorrah says what we just said is a machloket Tanayim. Rabbi Eliezer Omer, by the way, you should know the story of the Tamei Torah, even to know how to read something, to read, what the proper nekudot are, if it's a kamat, a patach, a sound, how to read anything in the aleph base. How do we know how to read the aleph? How do we know how to read something in the Torah? Because there's the oral law. The oral law, the Torah Shabbat Peh, taught us that teaches us how to know how to read something. And therefore, people have to understand and appreciate the power and understanding of how important the oral law is. The people who made the big mistake only followed the written law. In a sense, how do they even know how to read anything in the Torah? If you only believe in the written law, then you can't know how do you read. Who told you this is an aleph? Who told you this is a bet? Who told you this is a gimel? The only reason why you're able to know that is from the oral law. And the ta'amim go back from Sinai. That was given how the Torah is supposed to, the oral law, how the Torah is supposed to be read. The special musical connotations. Ketanoi, Rabbi Eliezer Omer. The same, we find this dispute among the great rabbis. Rabbi Eliezer Omer. Everybody have it? Reason, Mr. Haber, you have the Gemara? Because you eat with that hand, and therefore you should not clean yourself with that hand. That's why you don't use your left hand. That's why you don't use your right hand to clean yourself. The Gemara, Rabbi Yeshua Omer, Rabbi Yeshua says a different reason. Because you write with that hand. What's so significant that you write with that hand? Because you write Sifrei Torah with your right hand. You're righty, you write Sifrei Torah, you write mezuzot with that hand. And therefore, because of that, you write holy things with that hand. So therefore, you have to have respect for that hand that you write with. I like to say sometimes, you have to have respect for the hand that you write with, the Holy Scriptures. My father of blessed memory told the children, you should kiss the floor that your mother walks on. You ever heard that expression? Jaime, you ever heard that expression? Is that famous? You have.
Yes.
What was the...
From you, Rabbi, many times.
Oh, yes. Akiva, I want to say hello to Akiva as well. Good morning, Yosef. What's the idea? Respect. Meaning you should even respect the floor that your mother walks on. That's the idea, the respect. That's what everybody should tell their children, to show the respect for their wife. You tell your children, right? You tell your children to kiss the floor that your mother walks on. That's a great thing, I think, to tell your children. You like that, Nathan? You like that line? It's a beautiful line. You can tell your wife about it. She'll appreciate the line. So Danielle, what do you say about that line? You love it, right? So that you have to have respect. That's what the Gomorrah is saying. We have to have respect for the hand that writes the Torah. You have to have respect. That's the idea. So the Gomorrah continues. Rabbi Akiva Omer. Rabbi Akiva says, Rabbi Akiva says, the hand because that's the hand that you show the Ta'amei Torah. The hand that you show how to read the Torah, that hand needs to get that respect. Just taking a look at the Yalkut Yosef. He says in Siman Gimel, says a person should not clean himself with his right hand, and a lefty should clean himself with his weak hand, which is the right hand of most people. And some say, and then he says, there are those that say this is only when this issue is only when you're not cleaning yourself with proper paper, with proper toilet paper. But if a person is cleaning oneself with proper toilet paper, there's no real concern. But basically today, but remember that last reason would only apply if the concern is because you eat with that hand. So then you could say that if you're using proper paper, proper toilet paper, you're not therefore as a result of that, you're not going to have that problem because your hand's not going to get dirty. But the other reasons that the Gomorrah gave, because of the importance of the right hand, that should make it doesn't make a difference to the fact that we're using proper toilet paper. But the fact is we have to give, the other reasons that you have to give respect to the right hand. Okay, continue in the Gomorrah. Amar Rav Tanchum bar Chaniloi. Now the Gomorrah is saying the importance of being modest in the bathroom. Modesty is everywhere, as we said yesterday. Modesty is not only in the bathroom, modesty is in your bedroom, how you act with your wife. There's laws of how a person is supposed to be modest with his wife. And the idea is Hashem is Malo Kol Haaretz Kvodo. Hashem is all over. You're in front of God. You have to have respect how you act all over. Amar Rav Tanchum bar Chaniloi. Kol hatzanua beit hakisei. Somebody who is modest in the bathroom, meaning, of course, he's modest other places, but even in the bathroom, he's modest. Nisa mishlosha dvorim. That's one of the things we said yesterday. A person should not expose himself in the bathroom only when he needs to. Not that he should expose himself earlier than when he needs to. It's also a point of modesty. So now, if a person is modest in the bathroom, there's a very nice reward. Nisa mishlosha dvorim. He's saved from three things: from snakes, from scorpions, and from things that do demons, things that do damage. Rashi says that a person who was modest in the bathroom, the demons stay away from him. And Rashi says also that when the snakes, because you're modest in the bathroom. That means part of modesty in the bathroom is you don't talk in the bathroom when you're in the bathroom, so you're quiet. So therefore, the snakes take it easy; they stay away. When there's sounds and when there's noises, that's where the snakes that's when they get active, more active. You draw their attention. Like you don't want to draw the attention of the snakes, so you don't make noise. So that's and the Yesh Omrim, and some say Afchala Motab Mishav Malov. Also, your dreams, you have good dreams. They don't, sometimes people have dreams, they get nervous about the dreams, they see something in the dream. And we always said, we learned about dreams, always give it a proper interpretation, but better not to have the issue that you have to go ahead and give it a proper interpretation. And one of the things that happens as a result of being modest in the bathroom, sometimes these mazikim, sometimes these demons have influence someone's dreams, and as a result of being modest, the demons don't have power to get involved in creating issues in your dreams. The way they explain over here, they say that there's a point here. Let's see, number 16. That dreams are often brought on by the activity of the demons. Sometimes the demons play a role in someone's dreams. Okay. Now, hahu beta kisei dahavi b'terveria. Again, sometimes Hashem is sending people messages in the dreams, but sometimes it's a real message, and sometimes it's just the demons creating issues. Hu beta kisei dahavi b'terveria. There was a bathroom that was in Terveria, and this bathroom was unique. that in a way that it was very dangerous bathroom. Most bathrooms were not so dangerous. This bathroom was basically when two people would go into the bathroom together, even during the day, they would get hurt. Generally speaking, it's always when you have people and you're not alone, that's when you're more safe when it comes to demons and different things, different forces out there that could hurt a person. When you're alone, you're more vulnerable. And therefore, generally at night and dirty places is where these demons hang out. But during the day, generally you don't have an issue, and certainly during the day when you have two people with you, generally you don't have issue. But this bathroom happened to be a place that even when two people were together, they would get damaged even during the daytime. However, even though that was the phenomenon there, for Rabbi Yossi, Rav Ami, Rav Yossi have when they would go to the bathroom in that place, they would go to the bathroom privately, one by one. They didn't go together in the same area that they could see each other. They acted very modestly. They went one at a time. Even though this bathroom has a very bad history of creating trouble for people. So Velo Misaski. And yet, even though they went one by one, they did not get hurt. Amru Rabbanan. The Rabbanan said, Lo mistafitu. Aren't you not afraid that you're gonna get hurt? Why are you going into the bathroom separately? Aren't you afraid of the mazikim? By the way, this may be a lesson in life. Person who's not married is also more vulnerable for mazikim. Same way that Hashem makes it when a person's alone, they're more vulnerable. They should know the wife protects them too when you have someone with you. So Amrulay, why aren't you afraid? Why are you going in one by one? So they said, Anan Kabbalah Gamrina. We have a tradition from our rabbis how to act in the bathroom. And we rely on that tradition, and that protects us. And therefore, we don't want to go in together, because then it's not modest, and therefore we go in separately. Kabbalah, what's our tradition? The Beit HaKisei, when the person's in the bathroom, sniyuta ushtikuta. When the tradition is when you're in the bathroom, you have to be modest in the bathroom. Modest, you act with modesty. But like we said before, you don't uncover yourself more than what's necessary. And also you need to be quiet in the bathroom. You don't talk in the bathroom. You don't, and therefore part of modesty is that we should not be in the bathroom together. And therefore we have that tradition, and therefore we don't go in together. And also Kabbalah de Yusure, we also have a tradition. If chas v'shalom, a person has pains upon a person's afflicted with some pains, he should be quiet. He should not go ahead and complain to God about the difficult pains that they have. And what should the person do? They should ask Hashem to remove the pains, difficulties from him. That's the key. Prayer, and not to complain to Hashem about what Hashem did to the person, because obviously it's for the best. The best Hashem should make the person well. You should pray that the pain should go away. We find that Eov, it says that Eov, maybe when he had all the pains, he said maybe things that he should not have. He was tested. The Satan created a whole test. I think what I recall, he might have said certain things that he should not have said under his difficult times. And therefore people have to, and that's the Kabbalah, that people have to not to complain to God, and they should, and that's the high level, to accept it, but to pray, Hashem should remove them. Abaye, now the Gomorrah continues regarding protecting oneself from how the person acts in modesty. Abaye merabele ime. His mother trained a sheep. Today we have the seeing eye dog, right? That helps a blind person. Abaye's mother trained the sheep to go with him to the bathroom, to escort him to the bathroom, that he shouldn't be alone in the bathroom. So here the sheep would act as company, so to speak, not to have a person with him in the bathroom, but to have the sheep in the bathroom. So he wouldn't enter alone. That would protect him from certain forces. So Rabbi, see here we have a purpose of having the animal with him. Well, the Rabbi got so the Gomorrah says, why did she raise the sheep, which would be more difficult than raising a kid goat? Why didn't she use a kid goat to train the kid goat? As what do you say? Okay, so what are the what I saw is that they bring down that it's a little easier to train the goat. So the Gomorrah says, a goat could be interchanged with the demons. It seems like the demons had a appearance of a goat, and therefore, if you would go ahead and send the goat with Abaye into the bathroom, so it might have the appearance of a demon. So therefore, what's the problem? It has the appearance of a demon. So they say, because of the similarity between the goats and the demons, the having together the goat would not be sufficient to frighten off the demon. Demon, because it's very comfortable with the goat, because the demon has some sort of resemblance of a goat, and therefore that's not going to remove the demon. So therefore, if you go ahead and you send in something that's different from the goat, then he'll have some fear of that. Therefore, the demon will stay away. The Gemara continues. Rava Mekame Dahave Resha. Rava, before he became the Rosh Yeshiva, what did he do? His wife was the daughter of Rav Chizda. So when he went to the bathroom, his daughter would take a walnut, and she would take a walnut and put it like in a copper bowl, and she would shake the walnut around in the copper bowl when he would go to the bathroom. Why did she do that? Because she wanted to create the sound, noise, as if there's things happening, and therefore her husband is not alone in the bathroom. Meaning, of course, he was alone in the bathroom, but by creating the sound of putting the walnut in a copper utensil, it created a sound, and she was hoping that sound would help to get rid of the mazikim, the things that could do damage. But the malach. But then when Rava, after he became Rosh Yeshiva, when a person becomes a great rabbi, the demons they want to attack even more because of the greatness of the rabbi. So what should she do? It wasn't enough for her to just make a sound when her husband went to the bathroom. Let's say what did they do? What did she do? Avdele kavata, she made a window facing the place, let's say in back of the house. There was a place, he went to the bathroom. So she made a window that she could put her hand through the window when he was in the bathroom, and she would put her hand, menachle yoda reisha. She put her hand on his head. And by putting her hand on his head while he was using the bathroom, that protected him from the demons. So number one, we have to be thankful we don't seem to have all these demons today, these issues today. First of all, we live in areas that are more populated, and we're not using bathrooms outside, and it's probably, these type of places that demons are more common. Also, we see what Rav's wife did for him. We see what kind of wife she was, her dedication to her husband. Her husband needed to relieve himself. She would put her hand through the window on his head. She can't go, but it's not modest. Someone, she should be in there. So therefore, she put her hand on his head while he was using the bathroom. Just an amazing illustration of the situation. And again, like she can't go. She didn't want to. It's modesty, and therefore the concern for the demons in those days. Ama Ula. Ula says now the Gomorrah is going to discuss a person going ahead and going to the bathroom how do you deal with if there's other people in the vicinity? We said you're supposed to be modest and people are not supposed to see you while you're using the bathroom. So Achure Hageder, you should be in back of the gate. Nifne miyad. The person could go ahead and relieve himself. And by the way, we have to remember we have thank God we have proper bathrooms. In those days, there was no such thing as plumbing. Somebody said, I think my uncle, Rabbi London's brother, I think he said one of the greatest inventions of recent times was the plumbing. Plumbing, we don't think about it. Plumbing and all that, the ability to have all these bathrooms and running water and all that stuff. So Achure Hageder Nifne Miyad. Back of the gate. If you're in back of the wall, you don't have to go further, since there is a gate that separates between you and your friend doesn't see you, even though there are sounds that happen while a person is using the bathroom, when a person is relieving himself. So this opinion says it's not a problem. As long as you're behind the fence, you're behind the gate, that's fine. You're putting up a gate for the bathroom and you want to know how far you have to put the gate far away from your property it needs to be. As long as nobody sees you, you could use that. That's fine. That's the first opinion in the Gemara. Uba Bika, but if you're in the valley is an open area, and there's no gate, you have no gate over there. So what do? You have to go ahead. It has to be, you have to go to a distance that whatever sounds that a person creates while he's using the bathroom, as long as he's at a distance that his friend does not hear the sound, that's fine. As long as your friend doesn't hear the sounds that you make when you're using the bathroom, that's considered you fulfilled the modesty. You're modest about it. Yes.
A lot of public restaurants don't have separation.
Right. Very good. So the public restrooms, everyone has a private thing when they're moving their bowels, right? Nobody. So we're talking about moving one's bowels here. We're not talking, and that's what the focus is here. Now, Kozman Babika, if you're in a valley, in an open area, Kozman Shemesatesh Vein Chaver Shomer. As long as you're making sounds and nobody hears you, that's good enough. That's the first opinion. So the first opinion holds, but this first opinion holds even though you're in the valley, your friend might see you because you're in an open area. He holds that's not a problem. The only problem is if both things, if you have both two negatives, so to speak. Your friend sees you and your friend hears your sounds. But if your friend doesn't see you, if your friend doesn't see you, even though he might hear something because he's a back of the fence, you're back of the fence, he's right on the other side of the fence, it's not a problem, according to his opinion. Or the friend sees you, but he doesn't hear anything. You're at a distance, you're far away enough that that's good enough. That's the first opinion of Ula. However, but that's a more lenient opinion, lenient approach. He learns the following. Have to be your friend doesn't see you, only works if you're back of the fence, but also provided when you make a sound and your friend doesn't hear. See, today our bathroom is made in a way that so no one could see you, but people could hear what's going on. Right? That's how our bathrooms are made. Which would be the first. It sounds like the first opinion. We have a separation. No one sees the fact that there is, meaning it would sound like there's this concept. One opinion says that's not good enough. The fact that somebody can hear what's going on in the next door place, there's opinion says that's not good enough. So he says the bika, but in the valley, it has to be kozman shein chaver roeh. you have to move away, go further away when you're in the valley. If you go into the bathroom in the valley, you have to go farther away. Not only that your friend doesn't hear, but also does not see you. That's the distance that you have to, which is a much further distance. Good morning, Shimon. That's what you have to do when you're in the valley. Meitive. So the Gemara asked the following question. We find the Mishnah says people who watch the harot, when you're watching the wine, the oil in the olive press, because let's say the Ameh Haaretz, the people that are uneducated Jews that are working there in the olive press, and if we're afraid that they shouldn't touch the oil and make the oil tameh, so what did they do? They needed to have people that were shomrei. They were protecting. They were the people that were guarding and making sure, ensuring that the oil did not get touched from the Amei Haaretz. So now the Mishnah over there is going to discuss what did they have to do in order, if they needed to use the bathroom, but at the same time they needed to watch that the Amei Haaretz, that the uneducated people should not touch the oil. How far were they able to go away in order to go to the bathroom, but yet at the same time be careful and watch the people not to contaminate the oil. And we're going to see that there were certain leniencies that they might have had for those people. We'll see tomorrow more about this. I want to wish everyone a chodesh tov, a beautiful chodesh, and we should all have a beautiful davening right now.
Man.
Thank you everybody for joining in.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.